The Xbox Series S is of great value. It has performance that can match a $4,000 PC for $300. I love Xbox, and I think it's a great brand. I really do. Yeah. Welcome back to FritangaPlays, where we make something pleasant out of a peasant. If you're wondering why I haven't even uploaded yet, which I promised I was going to sooner, well, you see, the thing is, just as I thought I was about to start making videos again and getting back on track with frequent uploads, 2020 hit, and a massive fucking fire that has spread across the entire West Coast is kind of affecting us right now, especially here in Oregon, considering the fact that I'm about 20 minutes away from one that's more than 50 miles wide. And as you can see outside, the smoke is kind of fucking our lungs up. The smoke hazard levels have risen to levels that people never expected to happen, and now we don't even know what's gonna happen to our lungs. So I had to pack up because I thought our house was gonna burn down, but it turns out it's not close enough to city limits to really kill us. With the fire anyway. But I mean, can you really blame me, alright? I'm 99% popsicle stick and 1% sheet paper. I'm pretty flammable as fuck. You don't want Daddy Frit's stick going on fire, do you? But it seems things have calmed down, so I thought to myself, you know what, the Xbox Series S ain't half bad, and I think it's worth talking about. Not to mention, I just found out that my videos don't have to be 10 minutes long anymore, so now I can be twice as lazy. In what was totally not a controlled leak, they promise you, Microsoft promises you, this was not a controlled leak, the Series S was revealed, and honestly, it's a hell of a deal. $300. It's basically a smaller Xbox Series X, but with no disk drive, less RAM, a slower clocked CPU and GPU, but it still has the same SSD, and it can do 1440p 60 FPS. That alone is fucking impressive, and I don't care what my PC peeps have to say. No, you can't build a PC for $300 that can ray trace, because this thing can ray trace, and has an NVMe SSD, and can do 1440p 60 FPS. Right now, building a PC that can match that for $300, it's just not possible. Which is fine by me, because I wouldn't ever recommend people try to do that, unless it was for a fucking experiment. Now I know what you're thinking. Is that a speaker? No, it's the giant fan that they put in there to compensate the fact that this thing is really tiny and is gonna pack a lot of heat. Significantly smaller than a PS4 and significantly more powerful. There isn't really much to shit on with the Series S aside from the naming. You're gonna have parents go looking for that Xbox that their kids want, and they're gonna see the Xbox One, One S, One X, Series X, Series S. I mean, just look at this Twitter post from IGN.
The Xbox Series S will not run Xbox One X enhanced versions of backwards compatible games, but will instead run Xbox One S versions of Xbox One and Xbox 360 titles.
Write that down, write that down!
You think a boomer ass parent going to Walmart to get one of these things is going to fucking care? They're gonna ask the receptionist, what does this do? And then the receptionist, not knowing shit about the console, is gonna say, oh, it plays games. And the parent's gonna be like, okay, good enough. But why the fuck do I care if parents get the wrong Xbox, alright? The point being, what's under the Xbox Series S is nothing short of impressive, especially for $300. It's definitely the kind of thing that I would recommend to people. Why? Not because I think it's all that great, necessarily, but because I want the filthy fucking console peasants to stay away from the PC platform, alright? And I think that it would be everyone's duty watching my videos to recommend them the Series S. Well, gee, Daddy Frit, my PC's ready for next gen already. All I have to do is get one of the new graphics cards. Besides, we've been doing 1440p, 60 FPS, 120 FPS for years now, and the consoles are now catching up. Yes, I know. I've heard it all before, and I don't disagree. But you cannot shit on the Series S because it is now getting tech we've had to power 1440p 60 FPS for $300. I don't think people seem to understand why this is a good thing. It now means that the lowest common denominator won't be held back by conventional HDD or 900p or 720p, and is setting the standard of 1440p 60 FPS. Everything else will have to compete with that. The RTX 3070 and the RTX 3080 and the 3090 are fucking banger cards, but the Series S is targeting a demographic that doesn't give a shit about 4K. And to be fair, with the 3070 and the 3080, you don't have to give a shit about 4K either, but they're still pricier than what what people would be willing to pay for a Series S, which could mean that whatever AMD has planned with Big Navi and RDNA 2 may be insanely affordable for PC gamers if it's this affordable for consoles. Now, of course, that doesn't mean I'm still not skeptical about this box, because the Red Dragon did put out a video comparing the loading times of the Series S next to the loading times of his PC, which I believe has a Gen 3 M.2, and it loaded significantly faster than the Series S, even though Microsoft and Sony claim that PC doesn't have tech that can match these new SSD speeds. There's also the promise of 1440p up to 120 FPS, but let's be honest, that's the target. And as we all know with consoles, they don't meet the target half the time. Not to be a downer on that, but I am a little skeptical to see games like Red Dead Redemption 2 running at 1440p on this box. Then developers have come out and outright stated that this console could hold back next gen once the previous generations of consoles come to an end. Personally, I don't think that would actually happen due to the fact that the architecture is nearly identical to the one in the Series X. God damn it, I'm so fucking tired of saying Series S, Series X, 1X, 1S. I don't think there's any disagreement that this naming is plain retarded. But for $300, can you fucking complain about much? This is the kind of thing I would buy for someone like my brother, who's too retarded for PC gaming and I don't want him on the platform. This is the perfect box for me to get him. Obviously, it's not the type of system that's going to get me to switch from PC to Xbox. I don't think it's going to do that for a lot of people. Many of us already have rigs that can do 1440p, 120 FPS. We already have SSDs. And in general, for me, the trade-off of all the freedom I have on my PC in exchange for a box that can, well, sometimes guarantee it will run everything perfectly fine. At the end of the day, it's still a closed ecosystem with limiting factors, no mods, charged online, expensive storage expansion, and missing basically 99% of everything a PC can do in general. But obviously the system isn't intended to do any of those things. It's intended to play your games, and from what it seems so far, this thing can do a hell of a job at that for $300. This triggered a lot of Sony ponies who for some reason claim they do not care about Xbox or anything Xbox does, yet they somehow show up on every single Xbox thread on Twitter announcing anything about Xbox. They cannot let Xbox have anything good. I'm an elitist prick. I talk down to the consoles. But when something is good, you gotta admit it's good, which is something they simply can't do. Xbox Series X, $499 ERP. Xbox Series S, $299 ERP. Release date November 10. Pre-order starts September 22nd. I mean, to the console guys, this is good news because you're finally getting information you were owed about, I don't know, at the beginning of the year. And before you know it, people are going to find out what the PS5 price is when the cashier scans the box.
No Halo means it's gonna fail.
Really? Fail? Xbox fail. Mind you, this is the brand that for the past 6 years has been fucking over its consumers, and yet people still buy whatever Microsoft puts out, alright? You think someone like Kids Move is going to stop buying Xbox because Halo isn't their day one? These motherfuckers will buy Xbox regardless, alright? For me, it's just weird seeing a Sony pony underestimate the loyalty of Xbox. And I mean, for $299, how the fuck do you think it's going to fail? That's the same price as the fucking Switch. And then on top of that, Game Pass is cheap as fuck. It would make for one of the cheapest gifts two parents could get their dumbass kid for Christmas.
PS5 will win this generation. Let's get hyped for the PS5.
Could you imagine being this excited for a company to do well that you dream of them winning over their competitors? The only thing I ever want to win is the goddamn lottery. But these motherfuckers are out here already celebrating victory like there's some kind of fucking prize at the end of it all. The only price you're going to get from Sony is extremely overpriced SSD expansions, more expensive games, paying to use your own goddamn internet, and I suppose the win comes in the form of satisfaction at seeing another corporation fail. I mean, like, if there was something at the end of this, like Sony said, hey, here's $100 million for cheerleading for us for the past 6 years, I'd be like, shit, Sony, let me do another 6. But since there's no checks coming from Sony into my bank account, I don't see the point in cheerleading for their success.
PS5 great graphics versus Series X bad graphics. PS5 versus Series X graphics comparison.
What did the teacher say to you?
He said I'm effing stupid, effing retarded.
PS5 great graphics versus Series X bad graphics. PS5 versus Series X graphics comparison. Well, the stereotype of Sony ponies not having good grammar continues. I don't know why he's showing off Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. I mean, yeah, it was nice and all, but Unreal Engine 5 isn't going to only run on the PS5. I mean, he does know that, yeah? So I don't see what the... Oh, Sony ponies literally think everything they have is exclusive. Oh my god.
1440p for the next 5 years? Yeah, no thanks. Not even for $299.
Let me get this straight. This gen could barely even hit 1080p, and those boxes were all well around, what, $400 to $500 at launch? So 1440p for $300 is a fucking steal. You think most of the people buying the Xbox Series S even have 4K TVs? The fucking thing will benefit people who are still stuck with 1080p. And it's from 60 to 120 FPS support for fucking $300. You wouldn't pay $300 for that type of performance and visuals. We all know that if the PS5 discless model was putting out the same performance at the same price, they would be sucking Sony's dick hard. These goddamn console fanboy wars are insanely stupid, and they're getting worse by the day. You know what? I'm just gonna give you one more example of how bad these fanboy wars are getting, okay? And then I'll end the video with that, alright? Yeah? You happy with that? Me too.
The only non-next-gen console is PS5. Performance mode to play 4K 60 FPS, not even in 4K too. Also, PS5 is missing features.
What the fuck is it? Mesh shading, VRS, Direct ML, sampler feedback, DRX 1.1, GPU work creation. Oh, ha! Yeah, that's totally a real thing. Texture space shading, locked clocks, DLSS / DNX, whatever, DLI, full backwards compatibility plus enhancement. PS5 is missing backwards compatibility and enhancements? When did that happen? What the fuck is going on? They're just throwing out all these buzzwords and they don't even know what half of them mean. Actually, they probably don't know what all of them mean.
PS5 has everything there plus VR, next-gen SSD, faster GPU, ununified RAM, better audio, exclusive games, next-gen controller and UI and more.
What, really? We're bragging about UIs now? We're bragging about console UIs now. Well, I mean, at least he did the exclusives thing. You know, they still do that.
Xbox actually has better audio. Look it up.
My dad said so.
PlayStation never conformed anything on that list. They haven't even showed the UI yet. I'll give you the exclusive and SSD. Xbox and PS5 have the same RAM, and Xbox GPU is better. Oh, and the controller is filled with gimmicks.
When did console peasants start caring about shit like this? At least they didn't bring up teraflops. You know what? I'm done with this video. Here's what I gotta say, okay? To PlayStation and Xbox guys, alright? It doesn't matter which one's better than which, or which one you prefer, or which one anyone prefers, because PC gaming is better. See you guys next video.
Everything I do is just too sweet.